I wanted to talk to you guys today about drug policy. Now, not when it comes to marijuana. I'm not talking about marijuana. I think for the most part, the American people get it. We're all on the same page when it comes to that. There's a majority that wants it legalized recreationally. Um, a bigger majority wants it legalized medicinally. So I think people kind of get it that weed is not. It's going to do more good than harm at the end of the day. It's not really going to do any harm, to be honest. There's been absolutely zero overdoses from marijuana ever. So that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I want to talk about is the harder stuff. I get most people's reservations with drugs because we see what happens. I have family members, I'm sure you have family members. Everybody's got family members or friends or, somebody that they know that struggles with addiction. So here's the way to look at it though. And this actually was something that I didn't really even think about until I kind of started getting more into like politics and things like that, trying to figure things out. So before I really got into it, I was very much on the if it's a hard drug that you can get addicted to, it shouldn't be legal. You should go to jail. You know what I mean? If you're a drug dealer and you're selling crack, you should go to jail. If you're a drug dealer and you're selling meth, you should go to jail. That was my stance on it before, but as you guys know, I watch secular talk quite often. I'm a fan of Kyle Kalinski's show, and he actually put it in perspective for me in a way I never thought about, and that's pretty much been my stance ever since. So his position is you should just legal, tax, and regulate all drugs. Heavy emphasis on the word regulation because you can regulate the super deadly ones out of the market, such as meth, such as bath salts, such as crack, stuff like that. So if you legalize, tax, and regulate and treat all drugs like alcohol, for example, or tobacco, for example, those are both drugs that you have to be a certain age in order to buy. If you were to treat it like that and regulate the super harmful substances out of the drugs that people are buying, you're going to see a lot less death. And the proof of that is going back to prohibition. Alcohol was illegal. People still wanted it, so it's not like they stopped people from wanting to drink. So people still participated in it, but they had to go underground to get their alcohol. And when you go underground to get your alcohol, anytime you're dealing with any black market, anything, you're always taking a risk. So when you're taking that risk to, basically just enjoy yourself because the government says you're not allowed to enjoy this freedom, there's a lot of implications that could come with that. So some of those implications, of course, dirty batches of alcohol. You're cutting the alcohol with things that it's not really supposed to be cut with. So what happens? People get poisoned, people die. That's the same thing that happens with drugs now, essentially. Because Dr. Hart, I forgot his first name, but Dr. Hart, he is a substance abuse specialist. He studies it. He's a scientist in that field, and he says that 80 to 90% of all drug users are moderate users, meaning they're not addicts. So about 10 to 20% of people who use drugs are addicts. So with that being said, would you make alcohol illegal again because some people have a problem with it? No, of course not. That'd be crazy, right? Because everyone doesn't have a problem with it. You just get the people who do have problems with it help. Um, that's basically the standard that I think we should have for all drugs. And here's why I say that too. A few weeks ago, there was a rap artist. He was actually here in Tucson, Arizona. He passed away from a suspected Xanax overdose. His name was Lil Peep. I'm sure everybody's heard about him. And he was in Tucson, and he was on his tour bus, and I guess he overdosed on his tour bus. But according to drugs.com, you're going to see me looking up here because I'm referring to the website. It's drugs.com. I pulled up a list of celebrity deaths, and here's what I found. And this is why I say that I honestly think that legalizing, taxing, and regulating will fix this issue. Because this is what I found. So Lil Peep is the last person that's listed on here. Cause of death: a suspected Xanax overdose. They also believe that the Xanax he was taking was laced with fentanyl. If he was buying it from the store, it wouldn't be laced with fentanyl. Fentanyl is either 100 times or 1,000 times stronger than morphine. And everyone knows how strong morphine is. So if it's 100 or 1,000 times stronger than that, it's not made for the human body, period. So a little bit of fentanyl will kill you. If you're used to taking a certain amount of drugs and then you add in the fentanyl on top of the already normal dosage that you take, that'll kill you. And that we're going to see that a lot on here. Next, Prince Rogers Nelson, fentanyl overdose. Philip Seymour Hoffman, heroin, cocaine, some other longer words, amphetamines, one of them. They also believe that fentanyl was in his heroin. Again, you regulate that out, he could have continued using his normal dose of heroin. I didn't know the dude was a heroin addict. I don't know if that was common knowledge or not, but he seemed to have it together until that last instance. So, yeah, there's a lot on here. There's a lot on here. Chris Kelly from Criss Cross, fatal overdose, cocaine and heroin. So this is what I'm saying. You can regulate these things out of the market. Cocaine doesn't have to exist in its current form. First of all, again, if it's regulated, a lot of the dirty stuff that is causing people to overdose in cocaine, it's not pure, as they say. So the stuff that's in it is what's going to kill you. It's not necessarily the cocaine itself, right? So same with heroin, and think about it, there's already milder versions of these drugs that are available via prescription. What's heroin? It's an opiate, right? What is every rapper that you listen to basically post 2010, what do they all rap about? They all rap about lean, Xanax, Percocets, right? What are those? Those are all opiates. It literally breaks down in your body the same way that heroin does. So that is a legal form of heroin. You see what I'm saying? If you're able to regulate the market, you're going to cut it down. Yes, some people are still going to be addicts, and yes, some people will still overdose, as we see with alcohol. Some people drink too much, give themselves alcohol poisoning. People become alcoholics. They drunk drive. There's all these different risks involved with alcohol, but nobody says that we should ban it. It should be the same thing with all these other drugs. Weed should just be off the table regardless because it's harmless. So I think everybody just kind of knows that. Cocaine, I've met moderate cocaine users who are not addicts, you know what I'm saying? And they enjoy it when they do it, and then they stop, and then they go back to regular life. So, to be honest, cocaine I'm iffy on. Like, I don't know if it should be legal as long as it's pure, or if we should just, like, sell Adderall in its place. I don't really know exactly how we should go about that, but crack obviously is out the window because that's just a worse version of cocaine. If we can regulate the cocaine, crack's not necessary. Meth, gone. We have amphetamines, like those, that's what meth is made out of, so methamphetamines. So, it's like, the point is, basically, like, I don't have to go through every drug. I think you get what I'm saying. So the point is, if we regulate the market, tax the drugs, because as you can see in Colorado and all these other places where weed is legal, tax revenue is skyrocketed. Legalize, tax, regulate. Don't send people to jail for this. If they're an addict, they need help. They need to go to rehab. They need counseling. They need therapy. They need things like that. That's what an addict needs in order to stop. You got to tackle the root issue. I was watching a video yesterday with one of my favorite wrestlers, actually, Scott Hall, and he was talking about how he went to rehab 12 times, was doing the 12-step programs, doing all of that stuff, and it was not working for him. It didn't begin to work for him until he actually sought counseling and he sought therapy, and then he was able to get to the root cause. And as of the time I saw that video, he was clean. He was sober. So You got to tackle the root cause. Throwing somebody in jail for doing a substance is not tackling the root cause. It's just punishing them on top of what they're already self-inflicting punishment. You see what I'm trying to say? So it's like throwing people in jail is not going to work. It never has worked, and it's obviously not going to continue to work. We have all these people dying because of bad drugs. It's just really sad, you know. And if we were able to get it off the black market, first of all, if you're able to get it off the black market, like, like again with weed, right? In Arizona law, if you have a medicinal marijuana card, you're allowed to have 2.5 ounces every 2 weeks. So you're allowed to have 2.5 ounces on your person, and you're allowed to buy from the dispensaries up to 2.5 ounces every 2 week period. I have no problem with that regulation. That makes sense. So why wouldn't you just do the same thing with other drugs? If I go to CVS and I want some Adderall, just don't sell me more than a certain amount. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to go, like, I honestly, at the bar, if you go to the bar, they do that. If they see that you're too clearly intoxicated, they won't serve you any more alcohol. So that's regulation. So if you regulate these drugs, a lot of times people are not going to be able to get these crazy combinations of stuff. Whitney Houston, for example, she drowned. She had complications of cocaine and heart disease, they say, but I'm sure the cocaine and the marijuana and the Xanax and the Benadryl and the Flexeril, all of those things were found in her system. Says it didn't contribute to the death. So cocaine, Flexeril, Xanax, all in your body at the same time, they're saying that didn't contribute to your death. Like, I don't even know how they come to that conclusion, but I'm sure that some regulation could have probably helped that. Like, I don't even know what Flexeril is, but that sounds like some prescription stuff. Xanax, prescription stuff. Like, people are going to do what they want to do, you know? People are going to have issues, and we can't save everybody, but that doesn't mean that you need to be locking people up for, you know, for having a substance or for using a substance. And that also doesn't mean that just because some people are unfortunately going to pass away because of this, that you take away the freedoms of everybody else. So there's certain substances that I've done in the past or whatever, like nothing crazy, nothing hard, but technically illegal, you know what I mean? Because I didn't have a prescription per se. So if that's the case, you know what I mean? And I got caught, I could be in jail right now over something that I've done less than a handful of times in my entire life. You know what I mean? So I'm clearly not an addict, but they'd throw me in there anyway if you catch me with the wrong prescription pills or whatever the case is. You know, that's why I try to stay away from all that stuff, just because it's like, it's not worth it, you know, to get caught up in the system. But at the same time, I feel like people should be able to do what they want as long as they're not hurting anybody else. So just because I make the personal choice not to do it doesn't mean I'm judging anybody. So if you want to participate, just be careful, because they will lock you up. And know who you're getting your stuff from. You know, hopefully you can trust the guy, like, or the lady or whoever you do your dealings with, because you could die because of this cut stuff. You know, I'm not pro heroin, I'm not pro cocaine, but if people are gonna do it, I would rather them not die if they're gonna do it. That's my take on it. Like, share, subscribe. Rest in peace, Lil Peep. Rest in peace to all the other celebrities, entertainers who have lost their lives untimely due to drug overdoses. And free everybody that is locked up in prison, locked up in jail, on probation, on parole, anything like that that has something to do with a non-violent drug offense. Let them go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff. I'm going to pump out more content. I see my subscribers have gone up a little bit, so I want to continue to grow that. So, you know, I appreciate you guys sharing my videos. I appreciate you guys, you know, linking people in, and continue to help me out. I'm going to keep giving you guys good content. We got some fun stuff coming up. You're going to see me at some events out here in Phoenix pretty soon. I'm going to be working on a campaign for a Justice Democrat. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. But just pay attention. Exciting things are happening. Thank you.